It's that time of year again. Halloween season. So with that in mind, sit back and enjoy the top 100 most haunted places in the world. I guarantee this is not going to be an ordinary list of haunted places. Several of these places I know you have never even heard about. So let's start the listings. Number 37. Arrowdale Lunatic Asylum, Australia. The Arrowdale Lunatic Asylum in Victoria is the largest abandoned mental hospital. Opened in 1867, the 60-building complex housed some of the worst lunatics of the British Empire. Stories of the ghost of Nurse Carrie have made it a popular entry from Australia in the list of most haunted places in the world. The ghost is believed to haunt the women's wing. Another popular tale is of the ghost of Old Margaret, one of the many patients who were forced to leave the asylum when it was shut down in 1990s. Number 36. Highgate Cemetery, England. Established in 1839, the Highgate Cemetery in North London is one of the most haunted places in the world. The final resting place of over 1,70,000 people has been the site of many supernatural reports. But it is the tale of the 7 feet tall phantom of the Highgate vampire with hypnotic red eyes and long black coat. The vampire is believed to cause sudden drop in temperature, time freeze, and more. The story of the vampire gained significant popularity when a badly charred body of a woman was found decapitated. Number 35. Ancient Ram Inn, England. The 12th century inn located at Gloucestershire has been popular for its satanic sacrifices and malevolent entities. The owner even reported being snatched out of the bed by an invisible spirit on his very first evening in the house. Number 34. The Tower of London, England. One of the haunted places in the world, the Tower of London is a popular tourist spot by day. Several princes and others have been executed in the tower itself that dates back to 1078. The local tower guards, aka Beefeaters, have reported seeing the headless ghosts of Lady Jane Grey, Anne Boleyn, and the 2 princes who murdered their uncle, Richard III, in 1483. Number 33. Zalud House, California, USA. Gambling, murder, ghosts, and a chair with bullet holes give the Zalud House Museum in Porterville a special allure, prompting the Tulare County Treasures Project to highlight the home as one of the county's lesser-known gems. Built in 1891, the brick house has a European-style mansard roof and was the home of John and Mary Jane Zalud, both originally from Bohemia, and their children Anna, Pearl, and Edward. John owned a 24-hour saloon and gambled for money and property, winning several South County cattle ranches. But the family endured tragedies. Wife Mary Jane died of tuberculosis in 1912, and in 1917 their son-in-law was murdered. A married woman said he made a pass at her and rebuffed him, causing him to speak ill of her in the community. She shot him to death as he sat in a chair at a hotel. At her trial, the homicide was ruled justifiable. The rocking chair, including bullet holes, now rests in an upstairs bedroom in the Zalud House, Greening Road. Son Edward died in 1922 when he was thrown from a horse and was kicked in the head as he got up. Daughter Pearl eventually spent more time at the home and lived there from 1962 until her death in 1970. She lived downstairs and never married, but was convinced that the spirits of her family members came to visit her in the old family home. Number 32. Edinburgh Castle, Scotland. The iconic heritage castle is known to sit on the grounds dating back to the Iron Age. In addition to being a popular tourist destination by day, the castle is the home to a spectral dog, a headless drummer, and a phantom piper. During a 10-day scientific survey of the castle in 2001, several volunteers and scientists reported ghost sightings. Ever since, people have started taking the Edinburgh Castle seriously as one of the haunted places in the world. Number 31. Greyfriars Kirkyard, Scotland. The Greyfriars Kirkyard is a cemetery in Edinburgh that has been popular as one of the haunted places in the world, thanks to the rumoured sightings of the Mackenzie poltergeist. According to a popular tale, a homeless man once broke into Sir George Mackenzie's mausoleum. Ever since, many paranormal activities have been reported. Nearly 200 people have blacked out in the cemetery while many others escaped, albeit with many bruises and scratches. Number 30. Akershus Castle, Norway. Many claim the erstwhile strategic fortress and prison built in 1290s to be the most haunted place in the world. The castle that was also a site for Nazi executions is said to be haunted by a robed woman and a Malkinesen dog. It is said that whoever sees the spirit of the Malkinesen is doomed to die in the near future. Number 29. Château de Brissac, France. The 11th century castle, located at Maine-et-Loire, is one of the world's most haunted places. The beautiful castle witnessed a double murder. Rumors have it that the ghost of the lady in green wanders through the castle. People have reported seeing a rotten-faced woman in a green dress. People have even reported hearing moaning voices of a woman. Number 28. Paris Catacombs, France. The very appearance of these spider-webbing tunnels beneath the French capital can scare the hell out of you. Though the catacombs were not meant to house human remains, many remains were laid in artistic arrangements in the tunnels due to the overcrowded cemeteries in the 18th century. In addition to reports of people witnessing apparitions in these catacombs, people have been reported disappeared altogether within these tunnels. Number 27. Island of Dolls, Mexico. The artificial island of Dolls is one of the most haunted locations across the globe. The legend talks of a girl who died here after drowning in a Mexican canal. When Julian Barrera moved to this island, he was haunted by the spirit of the girl. To please her spirit, he hung several dolls across the island. After a while, Julian told his nephew that the girl wanted him to join her as a playmate in afterlife. His body was later found in the canal at the same spot as that of the girl. Visitors to the island have reported that the eyes of the dolls follow them. They have even reported hearing voices of whispers and laughing. Number 26. St. Augustine Lighthouse, Florida, USA. Built in the 19th century, the lighthouse located in Florida is still functioning. However, thanks to repeated paranormal sightings, it has been rated as one of the world's most haunted places. Several ghosts have been reported by visitors. These include the ghost of a former lighthouse keeper smoking a cigar, the spirit of a woman in blue velvet dress crying for help, and ghosts of two girls wandering through the lighthouse. Number 25. Screaming Tunnel, Canada. The tunnel at Ontario is located beneath the railway track from Toronto to New York via Niagara Falls. The legend talks of the death of a young girl about 100 years ago when her farmhouse, located at the south entrance of the tunnel, caught fire. The girl, burning in fire, ran towards in search of help but died inside the tunnel. Ever since, if anyone lights a fire inside the tunnel, the screams of the girl are heard and the fire dies out. Number 24. Rose Hall, Jamaica. Rose Hall is a former plantation house at Montego Bay. One of its former female owners is said to have killed several husbands and slaves using voodoo. Reported to be haunted by their spirits, the Rose Hall is considered as one of the most haunted places in the world. Number 23. Aokigahara Forest, Japan. The Aokigahara Forest, or the Sea of Trees, has been considered as the most haunted place in the world by many because it has witnessed the largest number of suicides. The annual number of suicides too is second only to that of San Francisco's Golden Gate Bridge suicides. The spirits of those who committed suicide here are said to haunt the forest. Number 22. Old Changi Hospital and Changi Beach, Singapore. The Changi Beach and the old hospital built in 1935 are claimed to be haunted. Many Chinese soldiers were killed by the Japanese on the beach. The Japanese Kempeitai, Japanese Imperial Secret Police, occupied the hospital and turned it into a torture camp during World War II. The now abandoned hospital is claimed to be haunted by the spirits of the Chinese soldiers. There have also been reports of headless soldiers on the beach at night. Number 21. Castle of Good Hope, South Africa. Built by the Dutch East India Company at Cape Town in the 16th century, the Castle of Good Hope was used for replenishment of ships that were to venture into the dangerous waters. For years, the guards on duty report seeing the ghosts of a screaming woman, a tall gentleman, and a black dog. The ghost of the screaming woman, however, reportedly stopped making appearance after a woman's body was excavated near the castle. Number 20. Eastern State Penitentiary, Pennsylvania, USA. Built in 1829, Eastern State Penitentiary is a former prison in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Due to Eastern State's harsh approach, many prisoners were driven to insanity, and as a result, the Pennsylvania system was scrapped in 1913. From then until 1970 it was used as a regular prison and held the likes of Al Capone and the bank robber, Willie Sutton. Reports of the paranormal have been going on since the 1940s, but ever since the Stone Prison was abandoned in 1971, paranormal experiences have seemingly increased. Reports include shadowy figures that seem to quickly turn away when approached, a dark figure that is occasionally seen in the guard tower, an evil cackling is heard coming from cell block 12, shadowy figures have been seen sliding down walls in cell block 6, ghostly faces have been witnessed in cell block 4, and strange sounds such as disembodied footsteps, distant talking, and banging of cell doors have also been heard. Number 19. Waverly Hills Sanatorium, Kentucky, USA. Waverly Hills was originally a two-story wooden building that was opened in 1910, however, the building you see today was constructed in 1926. It served as a tuberculosis hospital throughout the early to mid-20th century, a time when the disease was at its worst. It is believed that as many as 63,000 patients died there. The death toll, as well as the supposed mistreatment and questionable experimental procedures on patients, are all recipes that may be behind one of the most haunted buildings in the whole of the U.S. There are vast amounts of varying reports, including full-bodied apparitions, fleeting shadows, screams from empty rooms, footsteps, sudden cold spots, and disembodied voices among many others. Number 18. Fort George, the Citadel, Canada. Labeled as Canada's most haunted historic site, the Halifax Citadel has received hundreds of reports of ghost sightings over the years. Situated at the summit of Citadel Hill in the town of Halifax, Nova Scotia, this star-shaped fort is almost 300 years old, with the original foundations being built in 1749, and reconstructed in 1856. Staff and visitors have reported several apparitions walking the grounds here, with one particular visitor witnessing a soldier in uniform walk into one of the rooms in the old prison area and simply vanish. This is a common theme with many reports centered around apparitions. Other ghostly figures that have been witnessed include an old man, a woman, a man in a red cloak, and an older lady who has been known to show herself in mirrors. A little girl is said to follow the groups taking part in the ghost tours, with group members often experiencing her holding their hands. Other reports include disembodied voices, unexplained bangs and knocks, mists captured on film and with the naked eye. The feeling of being watched is a common complaint, as is the sudden feeling of nausea, sudden gusts of wind in closed-off rooms, furniture moving, doors banging, and on occasion, people have been pushed by an unseen force. Number 17. Banff Springs Hotel, Canada. The Banff Springs Hotel in Alberta, Canada was built over 125 years ago by the Canadian Pacific Railway, as a luxury stop-off point for train travelers. Don't let its picturesque surroundings fool you though, it's rumored to be one of the most haunted in the country. Terrifying reports include the sighting of a bride who fell down the staircase breaking her neck after panicking when her dress caught fire. Her apparition has been seen on the staircase and in the ballroom dancing, with many reporting the flames from the back of her dress. The main story that is told by locals is that of the family that was murdered in room 873. The door to this room has since been bricked up, but the family that lost their lives in this room are still seen to this day, often in the hallway outside the room. Perhaps the most popular of all the reports is the former bellman, Sam Macaulay. He served at the hotel during the 60s and 70s and is still seen to this day. He likes to help guests up to their rooms, dressed in his 60s uniform, often turning on lights and opening locked doors. If you try and make conversation or tip Sam, he vanishes. Number 16. Borgvattnet, the Haunted Vicarage, Sweden. Borgvattnet is a small village in Jämtland County, northern Sweden. It's renowned for having one of the most haunted houses in Sweden, the Old Vicarage, which was built in 1876. The first ghost ever documented at the vicarage came in 1927 when the chaplain Nils Hedlund resided. He reported many strange happenings, including one particular encounter with something paranormal. He was on his way up to the attic to gather his laundry when he witnessed his laundry being torn down from the line by an unseen force. Rudolf Tangden, a priest who lived at the vicarage during the 1930s, saw an old woman dressed in gray appear in a room. He followed her as she walked away, but she vanished in front of his eyes. In the 1940s, Tangden's successor, Otto Lindgren, and his wife said they had several paranormal experiences, including unexplained sounds and moving objects. On one occasion, a woman who was staying in the guest room was awoken in the middle of the night to see three old women sitting staring at her. She quickly turned on the light and they were still looking at her, however, they now appeared blurry. In 1945, the chaplain, Eric Lindgren, moved into the vicarage, and he began a journal recounting many of his own experiences in the house. He reported being thrown out of his chair regularly by an unseen force. Number 15. Babenhausen Barracks, Germany. Now a museum, the ghost of World War II German soldiers have been seen in uniform. Lights are known to turn on and off by themselves and voices are heard in the basement. German commands are often heard being shouted out in the middle of the night, and disembodied footsteps are a common experience. Soldiers who have visited the museum and picked up a telephone have reported hearing a woman talking backwards. It's not clear whether it's in English or German. In the town of Babenhausen, a witch was allegedly burned at the stake sometime in the 19th century. Her ghost is said to have seduced and killed several German soldiers. Number 14. The White House, Washington, D.C., USA. Perhaps the world's most famous residence, the home and office of the President of the United States. It has been the official residence of every president since 1800, when John Adams first moved into the house. With the vast amount of history and historical figures that have graced its rooms, it's very little wonder that the White House has a tale or two of hauntings. In fact, it's considered to be the most haunted house in America. Past presidents, their families, and foreign dignitaries have all attested to the paranormal goings-on at the White House. On one particular visit, the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, Winston Churchill, was staying in the Lincoln bedroom. He had just finished bathing and walked back into the suite where he saw Lincoln standing by the fireplace. He refused to sleep in that room again after that. Other people that have said they have seen the ghost of Abraham Lincoln include Presidents Teddy Roosevelt, Herbert Hoover, and Dwight Eisenhower, First Ladies Jackie Kennedy and Lady Bird Johnson, and presidential children Susan Ford and Maureen Reagan. Maureen and her husband both witnessed Lincoln standing by the same fireplace where Churchill had once seen him. Reportedly Queen Wilhelmina of the Netherlands was staying in the Rose Room when she heard a knock on the door in the middle of the night. When she answered, she was confronted by the ghost of Abraham Lincoln, standing in the hallway. President Andrew Jackson is believed to haunt the Rose Room, with numerous White House employees reportedly hearing his hearty laughter or him in a fit of rage, swearing violently. The ghost of Abigail Adams, wife of John Adams, has been seen floating through the East Room. This is apparently the room in which she used to hang her laundry, and several eyewitnesses including staff and visitors have seen her seemingly floating across the room with her arms outstretched as if carrying a laundry basket. Various other specters have also been seen, including past employees, Presidents Thomas Jefferson and John Tyler, First Lady Dolly Madison, a British soldier, and Anne Surratt. Sudden cold spots, disembodied footsteps, voices, knocks, and screams have also been reported at the seemingly very haunted 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. Number 13. Villisca Axe Murder House, Iowa, USA. On June 10, 1912, the old white frame house at 508 East 2nd Street became a grisly crime scene. The heinous murder of Josiah B. Moore, his wife, their 4 children and 2 young girls who were overnight guests rocked the small town of Villisca, Iowa, and the murderer was never identified. Over the years, residents of the home reported visions of a man with an axe, children crying and unexplained paranormal activity. In 1994, the home was restored to its original condition with no indoor plumbing or electricity. Number 13. Trans-Allegheny Lunatic Asylum, West Virginia, USA. Once known as the Weston State Hospital, this asylum was home to thousands of people with mental illness, starting in 1864. Hundreds of people died here before the facility closed in 1994. The spirits that are said to haunt the site today date back to the Civil War era, when the asylum's grounds served as a military post. Paranormal tours of the facility feature 2-hour visits to the asylum's 4 main hotspots. The more intense ghost hunt is an 8-hour, overnight paranormal adventure with experienced ghost hunting guides. Number 12. The Bell Witch Cave, Tennessee, USA. The Bell Witch is one of the oldest unexplained hauntings in U.S. history, and even CBS News lists it as one of the most haunted places in America. Between 1817 and 1821, the Bell family of Adams, Tennessee was troubled by a poltergeist that pinched the children, laughed, sang, and made fruit appear out of thin air. The witch was sometimes said to be a neighbor who hated John Bell, the family patriarch. She swore to murder him, and by some accounts, she succeeded. Others believe the witch was a poltergeist that never had human form. The Bell Witch promised to return to the Bell's descendants in 1935, although it is unclear whether she did. Number 11. Gettysburg, Pennsylvania, USA. Over 10,000 men died in the Battle of Gettysburg. As America's most haunted battlefield, it is popular on numerous paranormal television shows, including Ghost Adventures. Road Trippers calls Gettysburg the most haunted location in the country. Located in Pennsylvania, the battlefield is now a National Historical Site. Tourists report astonishing ghostly encounters. Many believe they met Civil War reenactors, only to find out later that no such groups were at the park. Number 10. The Stanley Hotel, Colorado, USA. A luxury destination 7,500 feet up in the Rockies and over a century old, the Stanley Hotel is a popular haunted destination, in large part due to Stephen King's classic horror novel, The Shining. King and his wife stayed at the haunted hotel at the end of one season, and nightmares caused the writer to develop the story. Today, National Geographic considers it a top haunted U.S. location. The hotel was founded by F.O. and Flora Stanley, husband and wife, who may still be found around the grand rooms. Visitors and staff hear Flora playing the piano, and the ghosts are apparently much more peaceful than those in King's imagination. The Atlantic Paranormal Society caught amazing evidence during 2 episodes of Ghost Hunters, and Ghost Adventures had its fair share of encounters. Staff and guests report everything from apparitions of children to objects moving by themselves. Number 9. Winchester Mystery House, California, USA. The Winchester Mystery House might be one of the most disturbing construction projects in history. Following the death of her husband and child, Sarah Winchester, wife of the rifle maker's son, was informed by a seer that her family was killed by the ghosts of gunshot victims. To keep away the vengeful spirits, she commissioned the Victorian fun house turned macabre dwelling that you see today. Some of the creepier features include staircases that lead directly into the ceiling, doors that open onto brick walls, and windows that can take you to secret passages. Number 8. Mizpah Hotel, Nevada, USA. Mizpah Hotel opened in 1907 as one of Nevada's first luxury hotels, complete with solid granite walls and Victorian-era decor, and it was fully restored in 2011. But the swanky hotel has a history as blood-red as its scarlet furnishings, one it proudly embraces. Legend has it that a woman died on the 5th floor, and her soul never left the building. The lady in red now reportedly makes her presence known by whispering in men's ears and leaving pearls from her broken necklace on guests' pillows. The Mizpah honors, or capitalizes on, her reputation by letting visitors stay in the Lady in Red suite or order the Red Lady Bloody Mary at the hotel restaurant. Number 7. Moon River Brewing Company, Georgia, USA. Considered one of Savannah's most haunted locations, the Moon River Brewing Company has played many roles before becoming the beer house/restaurant it is today. The building began as a hotel in 1821, then served as a hospital for yellow fever victims during the Civil War. Needless to say, the building saw a lot of death during that time, and many believe some of that macabre energy still lingers. Many of the restaurant's guests have reported seeing a woman in period clothing staring down from the top of the staircase. Other sightings include a taunting spirit named Toby in the basement, and a spirit named Mrs. Johnson upstairs. But as long as you stick to the main level, you should be able to enjoy your beer in total peace. Number 6. Lizzie Borden Bed and Breakfast, Massachusetts, USA. Without a doubt, the most famous haunted bed and breakfast in New England is the Lizzie Borden House in Fall River. For those unfamiliar with the story, or the macabre jump rope rhyme, police accused Borden of brutally killing her father and stepmother with a hatchet in 1892. She was acquitted of the murders later that year. At the Lizzie Borden Bed and Breakfast Museum, visitors can tour the house or spend a night, even staying in the room where Abby Borden was killed. Guests and employees have reported all kinds of strange activity in the house, including weeping and footstep sounds, an apparition in Victorian-era clothing wandering the halls, doors opening and closing, and muffled conversations coming from vacant rooms. Number 5. Crescent Hotel, Arkansas, USA. Since its construction in 1886, the Crescent Hotel has served several purposes: luxury resort, conservatory for young women, junior college. But the strangest mark on its history came in 1937 when it got a new owner, Norman G. Baker. Baker was a millionaire inventor who decided to pose as a doctor, despite having no medical training, and turn the hotel into a hospital that could cure cancer. He was eventually found out and run out of town, although reports say that his spirit found its way back to the site, and found some otherworldly company, too. The now operating Crescent Hotel is said to be haunted by at least 8 ghosts, ranging from a 5-year-old girl to a bearded man wearing Victorian clothing. Number 4. Whaley House, California, USA. Thomas Whaley built this family estate in 1857 in San Diego, on the former site of the city's first public gallows. Shortly after he moved in, he reported hearing the heavy footsteps of Yankee Jim Robinson, a drifter and thief who was hanged on the site 4 years before the house was built. Whaley's family history ended up being filled with tragic deaths and suicides, many of which occurred inside the home itself. Some of the family members reportedly still haunt the landmark, often accompanied by cigar smoke and the smell of heavy perfume. Number 3. Goatman's Bridge, Texas, USA. The bridge was built in 1884 and led to the home of a black man who raised goats, otherwise known as the Goat Man. His business thrived, and while most North Texans praised him for his success, the local Ku Klux Klan members weren't quite as thrilled at the idea of a colored man moving up in life. So, they decided to take matters into their own hands. One dark and dreary night in August of 1938, the men crossed the bridge with their headlights off, snatched the man from his home, and hung him over the edge. When they looked down to make sure the deed had been done, they saw the news, but no Goat Man. Had he escaped alive, or was his ghost doomed to haunt the bridge forever? For fear of the former, the Klan members returned to his home and massacred his entire family in case he should come back and give them up. After the Goat Man's disappearance, strange things began to occur on the old Alton Bridge. People have reported seeing an apparition with a herd of goats trailing behind him, a headless specter holding a goat head in each hand, and even a creepy half-man, half-goat hybrid creature. In addition to ghostly sightings, eerie noises are also commonplace when night falls. People have described hearing horses galloping along the wooden planks, frantic splashing in the creek below, crazed laughter like that of a madman, and sinister, inhuman growling coming from the woods lining the bridge. If you decide to visit, beware. You may see lights with no apparent source, your car doors might lock on their own, and your vehicle might even break down altogether. But all of that is just child's play compared to what could happen. I wasn't sure if I should mention this or not, but you deserve to know. Since 1967, police have discovered countless abandoned cars and investigated a number of missing persons cases where their last known location was this very bridge. Legend has it that if you cross the bridge with your headlights off just as the Klan members did, the Goat Man will be waiting for you on the other side. Are you ready to meet him? Number 2. Rolling Hills Asylum, New York, USA. Located in upstate New York, the Rolling Hills Asylum was turned into a strip mall then an antiques mall. After shop owners noticed bizarre paranormal occurrences, tests were run. Those taking part in the study felt the presence of a spirit and an arm appear and vanish rapidly in the center of the group. Number 1. Sallie House, Kansas, USA. The small Sallie House in Atchison, Kansas, is one of the most haunted houses in America. It may look normal from the outside, but it faces a haunting past. The Pickmans lived in the house in the early 90s and reported burnt finger marks, upturned pictures, and burn marks on Tony Pickman's wrist after he dreamt a girl pulled him forcefully out of his bed.